Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Well, after months and months of Democrats talking about no deals, it looks like once again the deals just keep pouring in. While the media is foaming at the mouth over an Obama getting arrested AI meme, or endlessly talking about the Wall Street Journal's little fake news hit piece, President Trump is out here ignoring the noise and landing the biggest international investment deals in US history. Not just modern history, but in history. Folks, Donald Trump just secured a $550 billion commitment from Japan. That's $550 billion with a B dollars. These leftoids told you this tariff stuff would lead to complete disaster, but instead we get this. They told you it would never work, it would backfire on the president, and nobody would take him seriously, but rather it seems to be working exactly how Donald Trump said it would. He told us through aggressive negotiation tactics, and of course good old-fashioned America First pressure, that he'd get the nations with massive trade deficits to start giving a little bit, and boy oh boy was he right. And well, now we get a little bit of a glimpse into how exactly this pressure campaign is working. If you want proof that Trump is in full command on the global stage, then just look at his Oval Office desk. Somebody took a photo of the president's desk in the Oval Office where you could see a document outlining the details of the Japan trade deal, and the internet noticed something quite interesting. They had $400 billion written down, and it was scratched out and replaced by a handwritten $500 billion plus correction. In other words, at the last second, the president managed to upsell Japan. It's the exact opposite of what they told us. Donald Trump is getting it done, and the American people are the ones reaping the rewards. It seems we're not getting a recession, but rather trillions of dollars in investment and job creation galore. Let me show you guys exactly what's going on. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright folks, so take a look at this photo that was just snapped. If we zoom in here, you'll notice at the Resolute desk, as Donald Trump is surrounded by a full Japanese delegation, and of course his closest advisors and cabinet members, we see a deal sheet on the table with a $400 billion figure visibly scratched out and replaced with $500 billion plus. You know, once again, we see this president demanding more, not settling for the status quo, or accepting this notion that America just has to accept trade deficits and being on the losing end of every trade deal. No, this is a president who pushes for more and he gets it. And that's the frickin' difference. You know, finally, we see a real leader. It's not just another empty meeting with Biden mumbling through his little note cards while foreign leaders walk circles around him. No, this is a man who knows how to frickin' wheel and deal, who knows how to close a deal, and most importantly, who knows how to fight for every single dollar. And this image right here, you know, as they say, an image is worth 1,000 words. Well, to me, it radiates strength. Now let's go ahead and break down what this deal actually means. According to the White House, Japan is now investing $550 billion into the United States, and this is real investment, not what the previous administration called investment, taking taxpayer dollars and funneling it to all kinds of initiatives and climate partnerships, or all these subsidies for industries and companies and fields that might not even exist in 10 years. No, this is actual capital, and it's foreign capital, so it's not coming out of the taxpayer's pocket. This is real investment, real capital, moving into American industries, with 90% of profits staying right here at home. And what do you think that means? We're talking hundreds of thousands of jobs, huge supply chain expansion, manufacturing opportunities, and of course the cherry on top, bilateral trade reforms that force Japan to equalize trade with the United States. As we're learning, for the first time, Japan is supposedly agreeing to open up their markets to American-made cars, trucks, as well as opening up their markets for rice and agricultural imports. And on top of that, Japan will now supposedly be paying a reciprocal tariff of 15%. Now, we could probably expect the predictable rhetoric coming out of the left, yada yada yada, inflation passed on to consumers, tariff bad this, tariff bad that. But as Scott Bessent clearly lays out, so far as we've observed, the Trump tariffs have not led to inflation. The cost has not been passed on to the consumer, but rather absorbed by manufacturers, exporters, and retailers.
I think what we've seen so far is that the manufacturers have been eating it a lot, or the exporters have been taking a lot of the price or the tariff adjustment. I think we're also seeing a lot of the retailers do it. A lot of the retailers' margins got very fat during COVID, so I think some of them are absorbing it. I was with the Amazon CEO last week, and he said thus far they're not seeing any price increases. And thus far, we've seen very good inflation numbers this year.
So just to put a fine point on this, Mr. Secretary, it's your belief, you're confident that consumers will not see higher prices because of these tariffs?
I am confident that the overall inflation numbers are going to remain very benign. We saw the biggest decrease in inflation in the past 4 years 2 months ago, and I think that there's no reason to expect that we are going to see a substantial pickup in the price level.
So as much as the doomsayers are singing, I just don't see the doom. No, quite to the contrary. This deal is making me quite bullish. And I'd say the markets agree. The upward momentum just seems endless, with the stock market raging 1% across the board just on the day. And that's of course because savvy investors are seeing beyond the headlines. They're seeing beyond the fear-mongering coming out of the left, still talking about crippling inflation right around the corner. They're phasing out all the ridiculous partisan screams and honing in on the clear bullish nature of this deal.
15% for Japan for reciprocal tariffs for autos. That is a different kind of deal, but because the Japanese proposed a very innovative solution. We've been working with them for months, the trade team, myself, Ambassador Greer, Secretary Lutnick, and they came to us with the idea of a Japan-U.S. partnership where they are going to provide equity, credit guarantees, and funding for major projects in the U.S. So they got the 15% rate because they were willing to provide this innovative financing mechanism.
And that right there is the most important part of the deal. Basically, the core component of this deal is not the reciprocal tariffs, but rather on the investment. Because essentially, Japan is committing to setting up this new, what Scott Bessent is calling innovative financing mechanism, where they're trying to set themselves up as the financier of American industry moving forward. And that means long-term capital flow. That's why the markets are surging, because confidence is surging as investment is pouring in. And clearly the media can't keep up anymore. Every time they try to pivot to the latest distraction, the latest doom and gloom to hopefully tank Donald Trump's polling numbers, another massive win drops. And all of this while their doomsaying predictions have fallen completely flat. There's no inflation in sight, no recession. No, it seems rather just job growth, surging investment, and probably most importantly, a commanding economic presence abroad. I mean, really, the contrast couldn't be more clear. Democrats waste all kinds of money, untold riches, on DEI consultants and all these woke programs that they call investments. They don't create real jobs or increase productivity numbers. No, they just print and pump a whole bunch of money into the economy without actually creating productive jobs. In other words, the recipe for frickin' inflation, the recipe for economic stagnation, and massive wealth transfer from the have-nots to the have-yachts. You know, the president told you not to jump ship, to stay the course, to not panic and sell off your stocks, and that the plan would work. And now, of course, in hindsight, it seems it would have been smart to follow that direction. I don't know about you guys, but back in April, I was buying stocks, and I gotta tell ya, and oh, what a good decision that turned out to be. Anyways, that's what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.